Sunlight hurts my eyes. Something without warning me lays heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world is alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Lovely day, 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 lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face. Always seems to know the way.
Welcome! We're aboard the luxury liveaboard boat named Demai. Right now, we're in the midst of what is called the Bird's Head Seascape of West Papua New Guinea, often referred to as a center of marine biodiversity. The area also appears to function as a sort of marine species factory, as evidenced by the large number of reef fishes and other fauna known only from this area. Myself and 10 other guests are now entering the Cenderawasih Bay, where in just a few more days we'll have a very special encounter with a giant whale shark, the largest fish in all of the oceans. So watch. The darkened area of this map is of West Papua New Guinea. In a southern direction is Australia. In a northwestern direction are the Philippines. And the green dotted area is the approximate travel path we will take over the next 11 days. We will begin at the village of Biak at the northeastern edge of the bay, then venture south into the Cenderawasih Bay. Our first dive location will be that of the submerged Catalina flying boat. This aircraft figured significantly in disrupting World War II U-boat operations throughout the Atlantic and the Pacific, and accounting for or sharing credit for the sinking of 36 enemy submarines. It was also heavily relied upon for the war's at-sea rescue missions. More than 1,400 of the amphibious aircraft were built and used during that war effort. We can easily penetrate the fuselage and venture into the nose, where there was position for a gunner and a bombardier. There are many other things to observe in Cenderawasih, like the unfamiliar coloration on this dotty back. We have often seen the common coloration of this dotty back, but because of the isolation of this bay for millions and millions of years, this unique color variation has occurred. And this tilefish, usually found at extreme depths, is observed in Cenderawasih in depths of just 40, 50 feet or less. And notice the dusky side coloration of this long-nosed butterfly fish. This variation has not been observed anywhere else in the Indo-Pacific. So Cenderawasih is indeed scientifically fascinating. But perhaps one of the most fascinating things to observe in Cenderawasih is the giant whale shark, the largest fish in all of the ocean. Normally loners, but here these filter feeders with mouths agape are completely different. They gather below village fishing platforms called bagans, dining on the small fry that slip out of the fishing nets or are otherwise discarded by the fishermen. Our crew use a standard meat grinder to grind up the small fish into a kind of soup. Mixed together with a few little fishes and poured in the water, makes for a delightful meal for these giants of the sea. What's that for?
Fish soup.
Fish soup.
Fish soup.
Is that what we had for dinner last night?
It's what you got for lunch.
Oh.
And tomorrow as well.
The playtime with our gigantic friends about over, we head back to the mothership for another gourmet lunch with thoughts about this afternoon's dive. Hal patiently waits to be served, while Eric thoughtfully studies the inside of his hat. Meanwhile, the crew readies us for the next dive. Cameras are tended to, and off we go again. Right away, we drop down on about a half-dozen white-tipped sharks, disturbing their midday nap under this coral head. Jen and Eric get a great shot of this colorful closed enemy with its remnants of this battle, including the recognizable amphibious landing craft famous for the historical D-Day invasion. Instead of MacArthur's troops, the landing craft are now occupied by schools of fishes and abundant coral ice. With the trip almost over, we are lucky to have favorable sea conditions, which allow us to venture far north of our intended route to a very remote and exquisite coral atoll named Mapia, basically in the middle of nowhere. It's a small channel entering and exiting the atoll with over 100 square miles of ocean, rushing in and out with the changing tide. It was an all-night crossing, but how rewarding! Enormous schools of fish just everywhere. On our last dive day, we encounter one of our favorite critters, the octopus. It takes a little coaxing, but he finally emerges from his hiding spot, then quickly seeks another. A little more coaxing and he's back out. This is the very unusual starry night octopus, getting its name from the brilliant white markings which flash like the nighttime stars in the sky when excited. Later, he becomes accustomed to us divers and curious enough to actually approach the lens of our cameras. In fact, he later grabbed away a diver's operating GoPro, fondling it with his tentacles. He actually took some shots, which humorously appeared the following week on the Dive Boat's webpage. With our dive journey coming to a close, we are thankful for the successful and safe adventure, and especially to the wonderful crew on the Damai.